Alright, welcome back folks. So let's play Metal Gear Solid 4. Big Boss Emblem. Now, getting those stun grenades is actually pretty much necessary for the cheesing I'm about to pull off. Anyway, into this next cutscene.
Show me your tears. Let them flow. Cry until your eyes run red.
Alright, it's cheesin' time. While Raging Raven has a quick kill, Crying Wolf actually has one of the few strategies that can outright be called an exploit. Finding her is a bit tricky. There are about 5 different spots she can be in, all of which are on the, or most of which are on the left side. I checked over and there's nothing, so I keep going until I find her. In this little hallway, which I guess is like the same spot where you could find Sniper Wolf, or where you found Sniper Wolf in Metal Gear Solid 1, she has 2 spots, one on the left, one on the right. If she's not in either one of those spots or the fields on the left, then she'd be right next to the Hind D, which is actually where I tended to find her when I would play the game. But it's weird, now that I'm like going through this fast, she tended to be right in the Sniper Wolf field. So here's the cheesing factor. Just throw smoke grenades and then throw 3 stun grenades at a time, and you'll finish her off quick.
The cries of babies. Don't come any closer. I'm sorry. I was so scared. Forgive me. I'm sorry. You can cry if you want to. Cry if you need to. Be there to listen.
Alright, now, in the grand tradition of me fucking up against the B&B Corps, I don't know what it is about Crying Beauty, but even before I would fire, she would dodge. Like, she just wanted to get the fuck out of the way of something. Every time. It's really quite impressive how much she padded out this section. But thankfully I don't get grabbed. And she's taken care of pretty quickly.
Yo, Snake, I finished laundering that rail gun you picked up just now. Knock yourself out. It's on the house.
Thanks.
Time for another bedtime story, Snake. This one's about Crying Wolf. You don't need me to tell you there's whole nations in Africa tearing themselves apart in the name of ethnic cleansing. Well, she was born into that environment. When she was a little girl, her village was attacked by rival armed factions. Her parents and siblings were slaughtered, and she was left a refugee. She took her last surviving relative, her baby brother, and ran as far as she could away from the war zone. One day, they came across an enemy unit, so she took her brother and hid in an abandoned shack. And then her brother started to cry. She knew that if the soldiers heard the noise, they would find them and kill them both. So she wrapped her hand as tight as she could around his mouth. As the footsteps gradually went away, she came back to her senses. Her brother wasn't crying anymore. Horrified, she pulled her hand away, covered in sweat and spit. He wasn't breathing. They say wolves eat their own pups when they die. She was spotted wandering through the thick of battle, carrying her dead brother in her arms. She had visions, too. A wolf walking alongside her. Every night, the wolf would howl and cry, just like her brother did that day. Eventually, she made it to a government-run refugee camp. But by then, her brother's body had rotted away. The camp was crowded with refugees like herself, and little children like her brother. Day and night, she was tormented by the cries of babies. The wolf that followed her heard her sorrowful screams and answered. He made his way around the camp, and one by one, he silenced the children. She tried to stop it, but she was powerless to stop the wolf. A few days passed, and on the eve of the enemy's raid, there wasn't a child left. The adults who survived were torn up pretty bad. Of course, there was never any wolf in that camp. She was the one who killed those babies. But she couldn't bring herself to admit it. She couldn't bear the thought of herself going from one baby to the next, howling like a wolf, snuffing out their little lives. And she never did, even as Crying Wolf, a lonely beast forever stalking the battlefield. Snake, fighting with you made Wolf finally accept what she'd done. She was cleansed by you. If the cries she heard of children on the battlefield have been silenced, it's because of you. You ought to be proud. 3 down, 1 to go. All that's left is Mantis. But you should know, Snake, she's been controlling all the other beasts. She's the beast of beasts. Don't let her get her hooks in you.
I won't.
See you around, Snake.
Welcome home, Wolf.
Now, into a bit of a weird conversation.
Hold it, Snake. Time to change the disc. I know, it's a pain. But you need to swap disc 1 for disc 2. You see the disc labeled 2?
No.
Huh? Oh, wait! We're on PlayStation 3. It's a Blu-ray disc. Dual layered, too. No need to swap.
Damn it, Otacon! Get a grip!
Yeah, what an age we live in, huh, Snake? Wonder what they'll think of next.
There's something incredibly arrogant about that, but I think that's because, like, in its initial version, this game needed 5 minutes to load every single act. Thankfully, that's gone, and now instead, this game has the single longest installation time of any game I've ever seen, except maybe Grand Theft Auto 5. So yeah, this is where we use one of the chaff grenades. Precious, precious, precious chaff grenades. And I also swap out my weapons, which actually, later on, turns out to be a bit unnecessary. Although this bit, it's very nice to remember to do it early.
Snake, I've got something to tell you about Naomi Hunter.
What about her?
She might be a spy. kill me? Is that all you cared about?
Frank Yeager. The man who you destroyed was my brother and my only family.
Gray Fox.
You killed my benefactor and sent my brother home a cripple. I vowed revenge.
But I can't go yet. I still have a job to do.
I vowed revenge.
So this next portion is one of the most weirdly difficult. So right there, I actually messed up a bit because I was like, oh, I must have missed him, and then I was surprised by the fact that I got him. It's like so weird how like trying to hit those guys in the perfect spot can be very, very, very tricky. This enemy, so the timing here is a bit on the extremely specific side of things. And I failed this about 7 times in a row until this moment, when by pure accident, I did something that somehow made it so that I could make it past all those robots. That was not how it's supposed to go. I'm just supposed to do 3 dives in quick succession. So right here is another surprisingly tricky room. Like, there is a way to get past this really quickly, but you'd think a room with only 3 robots would not be as hard as this is. So right here, I have to dive at an extremely specific moment so that Snake can roll under that laser. And it isn't really possible to do that when you're crouch walking.
Hop on, Snake. I'll send her up. Look, the railgun's been removed. Liquid doesn't need the whole Rex to launch his nuke. He only needs the railgun.
Damn it. Has it already been shipped?
Hang on, I'll check.
I'm afraid so. Unfortunately for you, the railgun is no longer here.
Naomi.
This place will be your grave, as my queen wishes. The suicide gecko are on their way. Soon, there'll be nothing left of this place.
We've been had. Otacon.
Snake, I think I might be able to get it working. I just need some time.
Hurry!
I'll leave the rest to you.
Naomi!
Excellent. until they arrive.
Okay, this boss battle is really fucking tricky. You got such a short time frame before Vamp whittles you down, so you gotta make these headshots matter.
I'll take care of Rex. You take Vamp. Kill that monster. Get Naomi back, Snake. Please.
So yeah. Of course, I already have wasted a single headshot if you saw my second shot. And I'm getting extremely lucky with some of these reactions I'm getting out of Vamp here. Now, when Vamp is running at you, you pretty much cannot do anything. Because if you, like, take too much time, that happens. And the thing is, when Vamp is over you in that situation, he can keep looping you until you're dead. Like, he has supreme control in that situation until he does something stupid like this. And of course you can't kill him while he's up there, so you gotta wait until he's on ground level.
Yes! You did it, Snake!
And of course, here's how you beat Vamp.
What have you done?
There. Now you're a mere mortal, like the rest of us.
Clever. But can you kill this mere mortal?
Gecko.
Snake, look out! The rig can self-destruct!
Snake, sorry to have kept you all waiting. You ready for this? Sonny gave me the go-ahead.
How about it, undying man? Care to die too?
Sorry, but I can't die just yet.
Then kill me.
Snake, this one is mine. You keep those gecko at bay. Otacon, we're gonna buy you some time.
I'll do my best.
Wait, you're a scout too, are you not? Then, let us duel with blades.
I actually kind of like Crying Wolf's introduction here. It's just lends itself, or just has this like really tense amount of intensity. It's that kind of thing where it's just like, oh shit, what's about to come at you? Which, if you're going for like the beastly aspect of these bosses, then I think it does work too. But that woman's name is Skeleton? That is perfect. But yeah, I think like that intense display just works really well for something that is just, if you're trying to show off as monsters, or more importantly, very imposing. Yeah. Not a big fan of lines like this, though. Like, I think this characterization like this kind of hurts the more human parts of who they are. That wouldn't take very long. I thought most of the time when you cry, your eyes already run red. Oh, Ultimate Maroon Snake over here. Making sure that his fucking, pistol is unsilenced, making sure that absolutely everybody can know where he is. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's intentional, but I always kind of get this vibe from both her and Laughing Octopus, almost this impression of like someone being born. Or I guess born again, if you will. It's just really fucking weird knowing that these are grown women who have been horrifically traumatized and are now gonna be just thrusting their asses at us in gimp suits. Because whenever there's a woman who is in horrific trauma, the first thing that happens is that her hair becomes permanently straightened and stylish.
Go away. Don't come any closer.
Don't you talk shit about D-Dog. I mean, he might get in the way, but he's still really good. Babies! You know, now that I think about it, with the amount of mentioning of babies in this game, I don't actually think there is a single baby on display. There are several young children, in fact, all of which have white hair now that I think about it, but no babies. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think there's a single baby in the entire series. I don't know, maybe babies are too complicated to make. Man, that snow in Snake's mustache bothered the fuck out of me for the rest of the game, or the rest of this chapter. It's so distracting. Jesus. Now that's a butt cheek shot. But anyway, this actual section of the game is like, I actually really love the environment design, although like inevitably being forced to be like vacant and dead does hurt it. I think it actually is one of the more powerful sections in the game to revisit, knowing what's happened in the past, like even just within this small area. And anyway, here's also the best weapon of all of them. And even the storyline makers knew this, because Snake just starts using it himself. Ethnic cleansing is a word that my friend has ruined for me. Like, he has used it for so much comedy, and like just pulling it out of nowhere. Just like, why did we do that? Ethnic cleansing, even when it doesn't fit. So amazing, but it's like, I cannot take that term seriously anymore. Okay, kind of a weird thing to bring up during this sad story, but I've been trying to think about like, because I've been thinking about what's my head canon for Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5, because like they're deliberately leaving her backstory in mystery, and I'm like, I actually kind of like the idea of that she's a child soldier that was so good that she was just recruited into XOF, and that her like going for revenge as it's said at one point is more like her like trying to kill people who murdered her family and home village, like so that it's a story that kind of calls back to themes in Metal Gear Solid 5 and Metal Gear Solid 2, but is also reflective of like some decisions other people have made, including Mr. Scullyface in that game. And this is like this is actually reminding me of that, and I'm like, Would quite be killing babies left and right. She's certainly done some vicious ass shit. I'm not sure if it's just me, but like the Sniper Wolf storyline never really really hooked in with me, but I think that's mostly because I've always felt like it was really, I never liked storylines where it's just like one character is supposed to be infatuated with another, but the other one basically doesn't acknowledge their existence. Like you might say just like, people may think that's a problem in just Metal Gear Solid 5. Fucking hell, I actually really didn't like that in Metal Gear Solid 1. But then again, I always kind of like the idea that even if, like, a character is really self-important, they wouldn't fucking, they wouldn't ignore someone in the room. So anyway, this dog is like, yeah, I got dinner for the next couple of days. My family's gonna be fed well. So yeah, a really cool recreation of the room from the original Metal Gear Solid. I don't think, one thing about the original Metal Gear that I think gets underappreciated, like there are things about it I think get overappreciated, but the one thing I think that no one really brings up is how amazing that game is at getting a sense of scale and a sense of age and witheredness to its environments. And like that flashback right there where you just saw a brief glimpse of Metal Gear Rex is like the prime example of just how much weight you can have, or how much size you can show all at once.
Hang on, I'll check.
I don't know if that's where you'll get it, the information, bro.
I'm afraid so. Unfortunately,
Naomi here is really weird.
Gun is no longer here.
Like, I really do get the impression that a lot of what Naomi's doing here is just trying to give specific motivation to specific people.
This place will
but like, she acts so bizarre in almost every scene, and here specifically is the only time she acts remotely affectionate with Vamp. Like, even there, when I see that, I kind of got the impression of just like, is this how you do it, right? So throughout this game, Vamp just keeps getting more and more veiny, but it's like, this is like maximum veininess. This and the next cutscene are just like, how much more veins can you show on a human being? And it's just like, this is how much we've reached the maximum. This is the Scott Steiner point. So the idea of destroying, like, bomb-like devices in order to avoid them from exploding, and then they explode anyway, generally the idea is that, okay, there's some chemical mixture that can be avoided being mixed together, and maybe they can be slowly dissipated as opposed to just blown up all at once. But it's really weird with these, because I'm like, they already blow up to begin with.
Sorry to have kept you all waiting. You ready for this? Sonny gave me the go-ahead.
By the way, I actually like this one detail with Vamp, is that of all the superpowered stuff he's done, they very quickly just explain it just like, yeah, he had those things on the whole time. Which I actually think is a very good way of explaining it, just like, if you just learn enough about the frogs, you'll know what those are, so it's like, okay, it's a simple answer to something else that goes on.
How about it, undying man? Care to die too?
A lot of times with Vamp, I get the impression he's supposed to be, like, well, I've always gotten the impression that he's supposed to be an attractive character, but throughout this game, they make him, like, his appearance more and more monstrous as the games progress, or as the game progresses. Like here, he's not only really veiny, but he also looks really gaunt. Like someone who just worked out like crazy, but then starved themselves. I actually really like this too, that Snake actually pulls out the railgun knowing ahead of time it's the best weapon. Because it's like he needs something that will just rock the fuck out of these things.
Let us duel with blades.
I say they're sword fighting, but it's actually really weird that they're actually kind of not anymore. I don't know why Raiden has to battle with honor. Last time he did this, he got fucked up. Interesting to note there that in this one battle where Vamp is like fighting with honor, they actually didn't show him taking out the blade. Almost as if he doesn't take pleasure in it, but then again, he just did that. And at 144, we have our Grunt of the Night. When Snake is reaching for the gun that he dropped, he gets clipped by a railgun bullet and goes, Gah! Join me next time when we see Vamp and Raiden fighting. Naomi gets involved in this, and we get Metal Gear Rex up and running. See you guys then.